Hello everyone, welcome to Dezan, Shira and Associate webinar series. As a specialist practice providing foreign direct investment and consulting services for international business, we are here to share the latest business information of Asian market, wishing to give you more idea on doing business in Asia. So please keep following us on our website www.dezanshira.com or for more Chinese business news on our website www.china-briefing.com. In our webinars, we discuss with talented professionals some appealing business issues for our listeners. The case of today is the daily internet problems that business operating in China are facing. To talk about this, today we are happy to invite Joonas Jukkara, Content Marketing Manager of Dezan, Shira & Associates, to discuss about what the current internet situation in China is now and how companies should face those existing problems. Hi Joonas! Please say hello to everyone and tell us your opinions regarding the current internet situation in China.
Hi everyone. Just to briefly introduce the situation, I'll pick my role as an example of how the internet troubles can affect a foreign company in China. My job in the company is with our programming and IT team to develop the digital channels and platforms we use to communicate our message to the public. Our target audience consists mainly of foreign companies, but some of their staff is already located in China. This means that our platforms have to give solid user experience for both Western and China-based users. In plain English, that means no Google Maps, no plug-and-play third-party forms, and another month go by without China's internet situation somehow affecting my work. But these challenges go way beyond your marketing function. They might affect your ERP system, your CRM system, your accounting systems, your order tracking systems, pretty much any network activity in and out of mainland of China. Fortunately, with some shedding of blood, sweat and tears, there is usually always a solution.
I see. It's a really challenging environment for a foreign company to operate in. So Joonas, do you mind to give us more detailed summary of the challenges that a foreign company in China have to face?
Certainly. I'll introduce you the three most common challenges and solutions how to deal with them. Let's start with the challenge number 1, connection speed. China has the largest number of netizens in the world. The latest data says roughly about 668 million users, which is 168 million more than the inhabitants in the EU and more than twice the population of the US. So a big part of the problem is just the limited international internet bandwidth compared to the sheer amount of internet users. This problem is not going away anytime soon, as the country's internet penetration rate is expected to rise as the urbanization continues. The second problem is the limited international internet exit locations. Currently, there are 3 landing places for ocean optic fiber cabling system in China, and this means there are only 3 international internet exits, one in Beijing, one in Shanghai, and one in Guangzhou. The limited number of international internet exit locations creates a veritable bottleneck for traffic going outside of mainland of China. The third issue is that the ISPs have practically regional monopoly. All 3, China Telecom, China Unicom, and China Mobile, are owned by the same state-owned company. They are split according to their physical location and service scope, creating a market monopoly across China. But what does this mean? Our research has shown that China Unicom's traffic in Shenzhen to Hong Kong might be routed through their router in Beijing, which is 3,000 kilometers away, instead of the closest exit point in Guangzhou, which is 100 kilometers away. And this can cause serious latency issues. Telecommunications is an industry that isn't currently fully open to foreign investors. In theory, you can create joint ventures with domestic operators, but it's still extremely hard to acquire the proper value-added telecom service license to actually provide services to customers. The third issue is the Great Firewall of China, officially called the Golden Shield Project. This does not only cause latency issues, but also blocks connection to various services, such as Google, Facebook, and Twitter. But this can also affect a lot of smaller cloud-based solutions as well. So, how to improve your internet connection speed in China? The very first thing is to choose the right ISP. If your business is heavily related on having a good internet connection, you should set it up in one of the more developed provinces in the east coast of China. When it comes to actually choosing the right ISP, if you're in the north part of China, you should choose China Unicom. For the south part of China, you should choose China Telecom. And for the lucky ones in the East China, you can choose between either of these based on the cost and bandwidth availability. Secondly, you should choose the right internet connection type. Here we have listed the table of different internet connection types usually available for foreign businesses setting their offices in China. I'm just going to quickly go through it. Basically, if you want the very best connection, you should choose the dedicated leased line in MAN. This means that you get your very own connection straight to the core network of your metropolitan area. This is the most reliable solution. It is fast, but it's rather costly. If you want to reduce your costs, you might want to go with a shared leased line in MAN. This means this is pretty much the same as the dedicated leased line, but you would be sharing your line with other offices in the same building. You would still get the same reliable connections, but the speed would vary according to the usage. This obviously costs somewhat less, as you would be sharing the monthly cost with other offices in the same building. The third option is the optic fiber ADSL link. This is somewhat cheaper than the dedicated leased line, and it's a very good option for tier 2 and tier 3 cities where the dedicated leased line is not necessarily available. The fourth option is telephone line ADSL link. This would be only recommended for very old buildings that don't have optic fiber connection. The speed is limited and could only support for a very small office, let's say with a staff less than 4 people. The monthly cost is very low, but for most foreign businesses operating in China, this wouldn't be a suitable solution. The last one here is a little bit of a special option. That would be peer-to-peer dedicated data link. It's extremely fast, and basically it connects separate your own network from one office, say in Shanghai, to your other office in Beijing. This is basically like your own dedicated line between these two offices. It's quite expensive to set up, and it's mainly used by very large companies for their internal data systems such as ERPs or order tracking systems.
I see. Very interesting. And I'm sure that most of the foreigners here in China have been through this problem before. What about the second challenge you want to point out?
The second challenge would be your staff abusing the internet connection. Related to the first one, as the most common occurrence is low connection in the office, even though the previously mentioned phase was correctly executed. 44.6% of Chinese net users use Wi-Fi at the office to access the internet. Employees using the connection to access non-work related content, streaming videos on Youku, or syncing their personal data with free cloud storage platforms such as Baidu Yun can have a significant effect on the office connection performance. One user in the office can easily produce 1 gigabit of data within a couple of hours, eating away the bandwidth availability available to others. Solutions: having a good internal control. On a technical side, you could give Wi-Fi address to only certain dedicated devices according to their MAC address. You could restrict the distribution of Wi-Fi passwords, or you could allow only authorized devices to obtain IP addresses from the router. Fourth one is less limiting. This would be network monitoring through a network monitoring tool done by your IT department. Basically, they would keep track on the network activity, and they could see which device is using the most bandwidth, and then the managerial team could take this person and talk with them and ask if all of this network use is actually related to their work. On a non-technical side, basically having a good bring your own device and online behavior policies. This means stating out in the staff manuals what kind of activities in the internet is allowed for the employees. Are you allowed to use the company Wi-Fi for your own mobile devices, your phones, your iPads, or is the company Wi-Fi restricted only for the laptops provided by the company?
It sounds very interesting to me. And obviously it looks like something that company have to take under consideration. What about the third challenges you are talking about?
Okay, so the third challenge is network security. This is an issue that often comes up when we're talking with our clients. The very first network security problem is the actual physical security. The easiest way to hacker to get access to your company's data is to actually getting the physical access to the servers. Basically, that will mean that the hacker would go into your server space, plug in their computer, and after that, they would pretty much have a free access to any data that you're currently storing in your server. The other one is Wi-Fi. This hacking through Wi-Fi often happens when you lose the control of the Wi-Fi passwords. Basically, maybe your employees are passing out the company's internal Wi-Fi passwords to guests. The Wi-Fi passwords have weak encryption. Maybe you're not really tracking who has the access to the Wi-Fi passwords. You might not have a proper policy set up, and the Wi-Fi passwords haven't been changed for a long time. The third thing is the more traditional way of looking network security. This is getting hacked remotely, employees getting spyware or viruses on their machines, and hackers getting an access to your networks through those machines. So, the solutions for these problems. Physical security. You should always have your servers in a secure space. If you currently don't have a specific locked space for your servers in your office, you might want to consider to actually use a third-party server provider. We at the Dezan, Shira and Associates can host your servers in our secure server locations. The second thing is the Wi-Fi security. You should change your passwords regularly and have a separate guest Wi-Fi accounts for those people who are coming to your office and are not your employees. Network security, anti-spyware, intrusion prevention system, virtual private networks. These are all the kind of softwares that you should currently be using. In the end, all of this comes down to a solid internal IT policy. All of these things should have been listed in your IT strategy. You should have a way of tackling these issues. You should have listed protocols on how to keep your data secure.
Okay, everything looks quite challenging to me.
Yes, the situation can seriously affect your company's profitability. However, at Dezan, Shira and Associates, we have the capabilities to advise and help the organizations that are having problems with this or that want to avoid them in the first place. You can reach us through our contact form in our website or by emailing directly to our IT director, Thomas Chang, at thomas.chang@dezshira.com.
Cool. Thanks, Joonas, for giving us so many valuable information and quite interesting solutions. I believe anyone who listens to this webinar should have deeper understanding about how the internet situation in China at the moment is and how companies can overcome the related challenges.
No problem. Thanks for having me here.